enjoy seeing teenage Holly at peaks of puberty. Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. So I wanted to talk about my childhood and growing up, my experience going through puberty, being at primary school, and then early secondary schools when I was doing GCSEs, because I have already talked about my social life, which kind of covered my experience going through sixth form and doing A-levels. I wanted to take it back a bit further in my life. I've grown up a lot, yes. I've matured, and yes, I have changed over these years. It is inevitable that you're going to change throughout your life. You're not going to stay the same, have the same thoughts, the same opinions, look the same way. This whole process of growing up, I'm afraid. Without further ado, let's just get into this video. If you enjoyed it as well, remember to like it if you want to. Okay, so I feel like primary school is a good place to start. So I've been to 2 primary schools. I didn't just stay at one primary school. Neither were private schools. I have always been really enthusiastic about my schoolwork. I've always enjoyed learning from birth. I've just kind of loved it. I remember sitting at home and practicing my handwriting, you know, when you have to write all the letters like A, B, C, write the whole alphabet in those lines and make it all look neat. Whenever we had spelling tests, we used to have weekly spelling tests, I would get a certificate basically every week because I would make sure that I learnt those spellings and I knew how to spell words. I wanted to be able to get things right. I wanted to do well. I've always been a keen bean at school. I used to tell my mum that I wanted to go to school 7 days a week. I've always loved learning, so nothing has changed on that front, you know. I do work hard and I have always worked hard, so it's not as if I've suddenly become this person that's really wanted to do well academically. I have always done quite well in school and taken my studies in my own responsibility. I have always been someone that has cried when I get things wrong. I've gotten so much better now because I just kind of have to accept the fact that if I don't understand something, crying makes it a whole lot worse, and it's taken 20 years of my life to realize that. If I did not get something straight away, or if I did something wrong, I just burst into tears. And mum used to get frustrated. She'd be like, your brain is mush, Holly, now. I did a bit of piano. If I'd hit a wrong note and doing a scale or an arpeggio or something, literally I'd do something wrong, hit the wrong note, and I'd burst into tears. I wanted to understand things and I wanted to get it right, and I hated it when I did things wrong. I can't really remember the last time I actually cried because I didn't get something or I didn't understand something. I think I've been close to the verge of tears in some supervisions at university when the supervisor's talking about something and I have no clue what is going on. I am gonna do a whole video as well about dance and my dance story, but I've always grown up dancing. My mum was a dancer herself, so she sent my sister and I to dance classes. From the age of 5 upwards, I've grown up taking exams, doing festivals, doing shows every year. It's just been a huge part of my life and I've never let go of that. But something that has kind of changed is my participation in sports. In my second primary school, I really got into team sports, and in particular, here we go, I played a lot of tag rugby. Rugby, guys, I was a rugby player. Tag rugby, so it wasn't as vicious and physical as full-on rugby, but I was a tag rugby player. And our primary school took tag rugby really seriously. In year 6, we had this teacher who was so enthusiastic about tag rugby. We won this tournament thing in our local area, which meant we qualified for this even bigger tournament. And I was, not gonna lie, a pretty good player, dare I say it. You wouldn't have thought it. I'd get the ball, I'd be shooting down the pitch, scoring the tries. I really got into like the aggressive side of things, even though it wasn't really aggressive, but I was like, yes. I wouldn't say I was a tomboy, but I did have interest in sports that girls don't usually play, and I also did a bit of judo as well. Again, I was actually quite aggressive with that. Grab their things and like wallop them on the floor, and it's not really your typical sort of girly sport, dare I say, like netball. This video is not sponsored at all, it's not an ad, but I just wanted to mention this because I was invited to go and watch the Women's Hockey World Cup and I saw England play Ireland. We went and saw the match. It was in the Olympic Park in London. We got to see the players warm up and then we watched the full thing. But yeah, it was amazing to see so many people turn up to watch the Women's World Cup. People were so enthusiastic. There were so many supporters, so many England fans. Thank goodness we won. I don't really know a lot about hockey because I've never played hockey. I was in Billy Elliot and I seem to miss missed every single PE class in year 7 of secondary school when they played hockey. So there was this one day when I was in school and I was in this hockey class. I was put in the middle of a pitch, I had this gum shield in with this stick. I had no clue what to do. The take-home message from that for me and for those watching is that if you're a young girl and you're worried about what people think if you're playing a more boyish sport according to society, like hockey or football or rugby, girls in sports needs to be encouraged more. We just need to get involved and we need to prove that we are just as good as boys or men at playing these games. If you love a sport that much, then just get involved. Likewise with boys doing, say, ballet or something. If you love something that much, go for it. Meet the goal scorer of today's match. Did you ever think you'd be playing for England?
Absolutely not.
What would you say to anyone out there watching who's like a young girl in particular wanting to play sport? What would you say to them?
Just get involved in any way that you possibly can, whether it's playing hockey or it's going out for a run. You'll meet so many friends and you'll have such an incredible time doing it.
On the topic of food, you guys know that I'm a vegan, but throughout the whole period that I'm talking about in this video, I was a person that ate anything. I ate meat, dairy, eggs, everything under the sun. I was very similar to my mum. I didn't really try a lot of foods. I wasn't very keen to try things, but I would just eat what I was given on my plate. So I'd always go back for seconds, you know. I was always like, yes, food, you know. I ate the sausages, the bacon, the chicken, whatever. I drank so much milk, yogurts, cheese, everything. I did eat all of that back then. I'm not saying I regret that, and I'm not blaming my parents for feeding me that food. It is possible, you know. Anyone can go vegan. Things can change, and you can really change your mindset if you make the connection between food, where it's come from, health, the environment, the animals, ethics, you know. If you really think about it, put the pieces together, you can change. You want to make that conscious choice. In terms of friends, I had friends at school. I did have a cheeky little boyfriend, but I wouldn't really say it was a boyfriend because at primary school it's just like a fun thing, and it's just like, oh, he's my boyfriend in this high-pitched squeaky voice. So I was a girl in my family that would like be more interested in boys. Like my sister was not interested in boys at all when she was younger, so I was kind of the one that was like, ah, boys, you know. But that has changed, I suppose. Primary school, now secondary school, I went to grammar school, not private school again. This was when you start to kind of hit puberty. This time of your life is when things start to change hormonally, physically, and yes, I'd say I went through puberty at an average age, maybe a bit on the earlier front. So I can't remember when I actually started my period. I think I started my period in year 8. My boobs started to grow. So you went through that phase when you have braces, your whole body's changing and you don't really know what's happening. But to be honest with you, at that point in my life, I didn't really pay much attention to that. I had no worries whatsoever about what I looked like. I just kind of got on with my life. I was a kind of chilled person, and the same with food, you know. I just continue eating what I wanted when I wanted. I'd say I didn't really have the healthiest of diet in like early secondary school and in primary school, because I remember a time in my life when after dance every week on Tuesday we would go to Burger King every Tuesday. I remember after dance. I remember that time quite vividly. I would literally just describe it as a standard Western diet. It's just what everyone does and seems to just follow this typical Western diet, so I'm not blaming anyone. Fast food, animal products, greasy food, I say that, but on the other hand, whenever my mum would make us food, we would always have loads of veg. My mum would always give us veg. We always ate a lot of fruit, and I increased my fruit intake, especially in secondary school in like year 9, 10, 11. And then after going through the peak of, say, puberty, I then kind of started to think about food, and that's when I started to think more about what I was putting in my body. So also puberty, I never really went through a period where I had really bad acne. I've never had acne, but everyone goes through that stage in your life. I've changed the way I look. It's part of growing up. You just have to accept your body's gonna change at that point in your life, and it's gonna keep changing your whole life. You do get out of it if you're struggling, if you're going through puberty and you don't like what you look like. Every person has to go through puberty. It's a natural physiological process. Just live with it. Love yourself throughout the whole thing. This is what life's about, you know. It's a journey, it's an adventure. Also, I was actually a pretty moody teenager. I was moody, okay? The definition of moody. I don't know, I just get really angry quite easily and I couldn't snap out of it very easily. So if I was annoyed at someone or about something, or if there was something bugging me, I would take it quite seriously and I would just have a frown. I wouldn't smile. I was just moody, you know? This was like year 7, 8, 9, I'd say, was the peak of Holly's moodiness. That is quite different to me as a person now, because I really try not to hold grudges about people. Like, why be annoyed at someone when they've done something so minor? I think it's pathetic now looking back on it, but I've learnt from that. Ultimately, I've learnt that being annoyed at someone is not going to change anything. It's only going to make you feel worse. You've just got to get over it, you know? I wish I could have told myself, Holly, like, to snap out of it and just get over it, you know? It's not worth being annoyed about. It's a waste of your energies. Be happy and smile. That is what I've learned now. I've definitely become more of a positive person, trying to live every day of my life, live in the moment, not take things too seriously, even though I do take things a tad too seriously sometimes. There's no point getting annoyed at people for doing stupid things. Just get over it. They will apologize and accept that apology, move on. If something annoys you, then either change it, or if you can't change it, change your view about it or remove yourself from that situation. I've learned these things and I'm so grateful for what I've learned now. But yeah, I'm definitely a different person on that side of things. It's not worth being moody in life. You only have one life, YOLO. Yeah, YOLO. It's not worth it. In terms of academics, as I mentioned that at primary school, again at secondary school I took my studies and my work really seriously. Obviously I did GCSEs in year 11. They for me were very important. At the time you think they're the most important things in your life, which they're not, but I did treat them with great importance. Every end of unit test in school, every little mental maths test that we do, every end of year exam, SATs and GCSEs, obviously they were a big deal to me and I wanted to do as well as I possibly could. So yeah, that's just not changed again at secondary school. Friendship wise, social life before sixth form A-levels, when I entered into this period of isolation with friends, I was never very popular at all. You'd always have the popular girl that would have like the most friends on Facebook, always getting the most likes on their pictures, and everyone thought they were really cool, and then all the boys would fancy this girl. I didn't care. I had my group of friends. I was comfortable in that group of friends. My interest in boys at that point just kind of started to really phase out. I went to an all-girls school for secondary school, yes. My primary school was mixed, but our secondary school had a boys' school link. I was never that girl that knew all of the boys. I never really knew any of them. I tried at one point to get in with some of them, but it just didn't really work, so I was just like, meh. Facebook was a big thing, as well as things like MSN. Who remembers MSN? I would actually always be on Facebook quite a lot, especially in year 7 and 8, just messaging people and talking about the randomest things. If I could see all those conversations in the past, it's ridiculous. Farmville, those stupid games on Facebook that everyone used to play. And then growing up, I just remember getting a new phone, getting my first phone, which was this Nokia phone, which I thought was really cool at the time. And then you start taking selfies, putting them on Facebook, making little albums, your little uploads. We went through that phase, people. Now it's all about Instagram, but anyway. And then sports and stuff at secondary school. Obviously I still kept dancing. During secondary school, that was my most intense period in terms of dance of my life. At max I was doing 12-13 hours a week of dance at one point, so it was really intense, as well as school. Sport wise, I never really participated in many team sports in secondary school, if I'm honest with you. I did do, if anything, cross country, so that was when my interest in running started to grow. I would always be the girl in my class, in my form, who was nominated to do 1500 meters for sports day. I was never the best at long distance running, but I would always get asked, you know, Holly, do you want to come to this cross country event? And I'd always be up for it, so I did really enjoy running at secondary school. Oh, reminiscing and talking about the past is so funny. I think that's covered a lot of my childhood, really, like primary, secondary school, and a lot of different aspects of it. I've certainly enjoyed myself sitting here thinking about it, and I hope you guys have enjoyed listening and looking at all the lovely pictures of me in the past. Yes, I've changed. Mentality has changed, physicality, the way I look, all of that stuff has changed. I'm definitely still the same person, but I've grown up, and I'm grateful for the learning process and the maturing process that I've been through, because it's shaped me as a person, and I wouldn't be the person I am today if I hadn't have lived those years of my life. It's a cliche, but it's honestly true. So yes, I don't think there's anything else for this video. It's just a big story time of my life, really, of my early years of my life. So yes, hit the like if you did enjoy it, and comment down below your experiences. Tell me a bit about you. Tell me an interesting fact about your childhood or your life now if you're a teenager. Subscribe if you're new around here for videos every week. Thank you for watching as usual, and I will speak to you very soon, guys, in my next video. Don't know what it will be, but it will be something. Bye! Bam, dude. Bam. 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 Look at this play, it's like a whip. Oh, why am I doing that? I'm like, why are you doing that? Bye!